and welcome to DBMS. I am Parinda Prajapati and let's continue our unit 1 which is database system architecture. In last video lecture we have covered first topic which is introduction to DBMS, application of DBMS and disadvantage of file management system. In this video lecture we are going to cover 3-level database system, data abstraction and database user and DBA. So let's continue. Our next topic is 3-level database system. In this, we have divided the whole database into 3 different levels. Suppose you are the database designer and you want to design a database for particular college. So as a database designer, you will decide that how many tables will be there, what will be the names of table, and how these tables will share the relationship to each other. Then this is known as the middle level. Now below middle level, there is a physical level, which takes care about that how this table will get stored into particular database. And the above middle level, there is a user level, that how your database will be accessed by user. So let's see this with figure. So as you can see, we have first internal level, which is also known as the physical level. So physical level takes care about that how the data are actually stored on the storage device and what will be the location of your database. Like you have, suppose you have 10 tables, then what will be the location of those 10 tables. Then we have conceptual level, which is also known as the logical level. At this point, you will decide that what kind of tables will be there, what will be the names of table. As we discussed that suppose I want to make the one college database, then I will decide that that will be student table, there will be faculty table, admin table, classroom table or library table. So and I will decide the relationship also between these tables. So this is done at the second level, which is known as the logical level or conceptual level. And last level is the view level, which is also known as the external level. How data are viewed by each user after making the database. As a user, whatever you see or whatever you access, it is known as the external level. So next topic is data abstraction. Abstraction means to hide something. So now what to hide and why to hide? So answer for that is, as a user, we are not aware about that what is DBMS and what are the tables and how this table share relationship to each other. So all the users are not computer trained and they don't want to see the complexity of database. So developers have decided the different levels of abstraction to hide the actual details of database and to give them the actually what they need only. So suppose let me give you the one example, like we all use the online shopping portal. So suppose let's take example of Amazon. So as a user, I don't want to know that how many tables will be there in the backend and what kind of relationship they will share and where these tables are stored. All I want is just to use the application. So in that case, there are different level of abstraction we can provide. So first level of abstraction is physical or internal level abstraction. As we discussed that at this level, the database decide that how the data will be exactly stored, and this is decided by the developers or the application programmers, that how to store the data in the database. And this is the lowest level of abstraction, but here the complexity is very high as we make the database in the table form, but whenever we are storing this database, it will store in the bit or byte form. So obviously user don't want to see this kind of details, so we are hiding these details from the user. Next level is the logical or the conceptual level, which is next a higher level of abstraction. Here this level gives us the information, as we discussed, that what kind of data will be there and what will be the relationship among this data. And this table contains attributes and relationship, like all table will have some columns and like student and faculty, then these both tables are connected with each other, like with the relationship teaching. And then view level or external level. So this is the highest level, and there are different levels of views at this level also, and this level can be used by all levels of user. Suppose it's physical level user or logical level user, they also can use this level, and this is very least complex and easy to understand. And the whole purpose to give the data abstraction is to provide the user the simplified users interaction with GUI, as they can easily use the application without taking care about that how this application has been made or what are the database and data structure behind this application. So next is data independence. So what is independence? Independence, that means freedom. So data independence, there are two types of data independence. First one is logical data independence and second one is physical data independence. So what is logical data independence? At the logical level, we are creating the table, we are renaming table, or we are deciding the relationship between table. So suppose that you want to change something at this level, then there should not be any effect on the user level or the upper level, and upper level of logical level is user level. So suppose that we are doing any change at the logical level, that it should be done without affecting the application program or the external level, and mapping will observe the change. That means suppose you want to give the update, then update will be there at the user level. But suppose you are changing the size of particular column, or you are renaming your table, then in that case there should not be any negative effect on the user level. Then physical data independence. Physical data independence, that means suppose you want to change something at the physical level, then it should not affect the logical level. Suppose you are changing the location of your particular database from one point to another point, then it should not like that the whole structure of a logical level get changed. You are just changing the location, and that change should be done at the physical level only, and there should not be any effect on the logical level. So this is known as the data independence. Now next is instance and schema. So what do you mean by instance? Instance, that means our database get changed over a time. So whenever we are talking about the instance, so instance means when you talk about the particular time, it is the database, or you can see the information stored in the database at the particular moment. So suppose at the 10 a.m. you are checking the stock market, then and if you are taking the screenshot at the 10 a.m., then it becomes the instance for that. After suppose you are checking the 11 checking at 11 a.m. that what is the stock market right now. So at that time, if you are taking the screenshot of that particular system or particular application, that then it becomes an instance for 11 a.m. So instance is nothing but it is the database at a particular moment in a time. Okay, so what is a schema? Schema is the overall design or overall structure of our table. Suppose as a database designer, you are making one table student. So I am deciding that my student table will have the name of student, and there will be two columns like SID and SNAME, and SID will have the type of number, SNAME will have the type of varchar. So this whole structure is known as the schema. So database structure is known as the schema. Now there are different types of database user. Generally there are four types of database user. So first one is naive user or end user. So these users do not have any knowledge about the database. So what kind of this user are? So I have given the example like clerk in bank. So clerk do not have any detail like what is the database management system and what are the tables and how to give relationship between tables. All clerk do is just use the software and interact with software. So these kind of users are known as naive user. Then we have application programmers. So application programmers are the programmers who write software or who develop the application using some programming language like Java, .NET, PHP, and some tools. So example of this is software developer. Then we have sophisticated user. Now these users know about the database. These kind of users have the knowledge about the database management system, and they know that how to perform the query. So they use the query tool like SQL, where we can perform the database management system query. So example of this is analyst. And then last one, we have the specialized user, which is DBA, database administrator. This user write the specialized database. He is known as a database designer also, and he will do all the operations with administration tools. So these four are database users. Now we have last one is database administrator. Now what are the tasks of database administrator? So database administrator will decide the schema definition. Now what is the schema? We already discussed that the schema is the overall structure of table. So DBA defines the logical schema of the database. He will decide that what will be the name, what will be the columns, and what will be the size of database and how many tables will be there. Then he will decide the storage structure and access method definition. He will decide that how the data should be stored and where to store the data and how to access those particular data. Then he will define the security and integrity constraint. DBA will decide the various security to provide because as per the different sector, we need different kinds of security for our particular data. And suppose you want to provide some constraint like some rules, then also DBA will provide those rules to our database. Then granting of authorization for data access. Different users have different kinds of access on database. So DBA will decide that whom to give this authorization access and how much access should be given. And then last one is liaison with users. Whenever user wants some kind of data, then DBA will provide those kind of data to the users. So these all are the responsibility of database administrator. Thank you. And in next video lecture, we will cover the database system architecture.